A static property is a type of property in a class that is slightly different from the properties you are used to. That's because it belongs to the class itself, not to the object instance. It may be confusing, but keep watching, I will explain. When you declare a class, let's say my class, and describe that class with methods and properties, you are actually creating a mode. So every time you want something like this, you can easily instantiate it. Try to think of it this way. You want to bake 5 cakes, but you want them in the shape of a heart. You have 2 ways to do it. The first way is to bake a square cake, then cut into the shape of a heart 5 times. You will probably notice differences among the cakes since you have done the cutting by hand and you're not a machine. And also, you have wasted a little bit of cake, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of the cake? The second solution is to create a heart-shaped mold. This way, you won't waste any cake because you will pour the dough into the cake pan that already has the shape of a heart. And you won't need to shape it after baking. And as a plus, all the cakes will be much more similar. Well, what we just saw is exactly what a class is, a mold. And where are the static props in the cake? Easy! Did you notice that all the cakes share the same size? That is because you set it when you decide to create your cake line. When I set a static property, I am explicitly telling that class that I want this particular property to be shared among all the objects. So, if I change the size of the cake, I want all the cakes to change to that same size. And it doesn't matter. Unless that specific cake overwrites the size, it will follow the original static size. In addition, to access a static property, you need a slightly different call. Instead of using the object you instantiated, you need to call it by the class name. So, instead of bananacake.size, you'd use heart-shaped-cake.size. Enough of theory, let's see some code. In this example, I will be using TypeScript because it's easier to run, and actually the language does not matter because object-oriented programming is a paradigm and should be the same for most of the languages. In this example, we're gonna see an armor shop. It's a very classic example that I like to use because it explains how storage can be shared among several dealers. So first thing I'm gonna do is to create my class, armor shop. Then I'm gonna set an array of items that I wanna sell, okay? This will be my static, notice the static keyword here, items, that I will have a chainmail, a plate armor, a leather armor, and only that. Then I'm gonna construct it with a name just to differentiate. Then I'm gonna create a static method to add an item. So the static method is the same purpose than the items. It will be the same for all the objects of the type armor shop. Then I'm gonna create another method to get the item so I can display it. And then I'm gonna create a method to sell the items so the shop can be a real shop, sell items. Cool. So what this sell function do? It gets the items that we have here and removes the item I'm buying and reassign to the items. It basically goes to chainmail, for example, removes it from here, and items will now be plate armor and leather armor. We'll see it. So then I'm going to create my 2 instances of 2 dealers, okay, dealer A and dealer B. Then what I want to do is actually check both inventories. So the dealer A, I'm going to check it here. So we have chainmail for dealer A, chainmail, plate armor, and leather armor. Let's check the B's inventory. So we have dealer B, chainmail, plate armor, and leather armor. What I'm gonna do now is take the dealer A and sell an item. Okay, so I'm gonna sell a chainmail. And then I'm gonna check the dealers A and dealers B inventory. So dealer A starts with chainmail, plate armor, and leather armor. Same for dealer B. And then I sell an item from dealer A, and dealer A has plate armor and leather armor, and also dealer B has plate armor and leather armor. Okay, so when I remove something from the dealer A, dealer B will remove it too because it shares the same storage, the same items array. I'm gonna add something to our shop and then check both inventories again. That's cool. I added steel armor, and then dealer A started chainmail, plate armor, leather armor. Dealer B 2, I sold chainmail. Then dealer A and dealer B has both the same 2 items, and then I added steel armor, and both dealers has the same armors again, so both have steel armor. So why did I use this example? Because this is very common to happen. Imagine that you have 2 stores. Let's say you have 2 stores like Amazon, for example, and Amazon shares one big storage, right? So you have 10 Amazons, 10 shops, 20 shops, I don't know how many shops you can have of Amazon, but they share one inventory, one storage. So if Amazon number 1 sells all the liquor storage, for example, the Amazon number 2 must know that if you try to sell a liquor, you won't have any because Amazon number 1 sold every liquor in the storage because you share the same storage. This is not a real life application, of course, but it can happen like in small storages that you have, for example, 2 stores and you can share the same storage, right? If you think about it, you can think about a database. A database is something static that is shared among all the applications. You have 10 applications using the same database. You can think of it as a static prop. Okay, so when I add a static prop to a class, I am explicitly telling that class to share among all of the objects of that type to use the same value here in that static prop. And it's also for the functions, but the functions are a little different. We can see it in another time. When, where, and why are not easy questions to answer. You will need to analyze your environment and your project to decide. But you will usually implement static properties when you need something to be unique or shared among all the objects of a class. For example, a set of configurations, resources that are available at that moment, a thread, and etc. Bear in mind that static properties are quite sensitive, so be careful when using them. And please do not let your class become a static class. Keep in mind that a static prop will affect all the objects of that class except for the inherited ones, which share the same property but only among the inherited type. This is related to class abstraction. If you want to know more about it, please leave a comment below so I can do another video explaining that concept. Yeah, this is the simplest way I found to explain static props. I hope you have understood it once and for all. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any doubts, suggestions or tips. Thank you for watching, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this. And I'll catch you in the next one.